Hey, what's going on guys? Welcome back to a brand new Division video. What I guess today is the ultimate PvE Deadeye build. As you guys know, in patch 1.7, global events are coming out, and I feel like a lot of people are going to be grinding PvE again. Nowadays, it's mostly the Dark Zone or Last Stand where people play at, because to be honest, there's really nothing to do in PvE because content has been a little bit stale for PvE, but with global events, I feel like a lot of players are going to be looking for builds that are just really good for PvE or anything like that. And finally, I decided to dig out my old Deadeye build and show you guys what I have on it. Although it's not the best one, there's no way this is like, the best of the best. There's still a lot of changes you can make to pretty much fit your playstyle and a lot of changes that could be better than what I have. But for now, this is what I'm using and this is what I plan to use once 1.7 comes out. So without further ado, let's get right into this build. So starting off first, I'm using the booster shot and a life support station. Life support station is kind of debatable. You can go with something like a fire turret or even something with a pulse. It really depends how you play. I tend to sit back a lot whenever I'm using Deadeye, so that's why I do have a life support station on. Even if I go down, it picks me right up and I get a little bit more health by every second. And also I'm using a booster shot. This is just because I'm using a vigorous chest. Normally I would want to go with overdose since I get a lot more healing power, but since I'm using vigorous, I do want to go with booster shot and just do a little bit more damage with the Deadeye. So that is pretty much it for my abilities. For the talents, I'm using critical save, strike back, on the move, and precision. With precision, it's not really necessary. You can definitely use something like triage or steady hands. It's really personal preference. I started using precision and I really like it. So as I said, if you guys don't want to, you can definitely use something else. Now getting into the actual build, as you guys can see, this is what I'm rocking with. So I do have a gold chest piece and a gold backpack, and the rest of them are obviously Deadeye. And for my weapons, what I'm using is a SVD and a lightweight M4. You don't really have to go with that combination. You can use something like a SMG if you prefer, but SVD, in my opinion, is the best choice, at least for a Deadeye build. So what I have on it is Deadly, Sustained, and Ferocious, and for my stats, I'm rocking with 159% headshot damage and 62.3k base damage. Now, in my opinion, Sustained is not the best option for the SVD. If I had something like Competent or even Unforgiving, in my opinion, that would be a little bit better, but I'm kind of stuck with Sustained. As you guys can see, I rolled Ferocious. So unless I get a better SVD, I'm going to use this, and it's not, the worst talent in the game because you still get health every time you get a kill. But as I said, if you want, the perfect roll, I would go with something like Competent or even something like Unforgiving with Deadly and Ferocious for PvE. Now getting into the gear side of the build, the first thing you guys can see is my chest piece. So what I actually have on it is a vigorous chest. This is the main reason why I'm using a life support station and a booster shot, because I really want a overdose when I'm kind of sitting back behind cover, behind my team. If I put my support station down, it's going to give me that health, and if I never get shot, I will automatically just have a overshield the whole time. Although it takes a little bit for my life support station to kind of give me that overshield. Over time, if I'm just sitting there and sniping away at the enemies, I will eventually get that shield, and it's going to make me a bit more tanky. Now if you're not a vigorous fan, you can obviously go with something like a rapid chest piece or even a barrage chest piece, but when you do that, I wouldn't recommend using a life support station or even a booster shot. Go with something like overdose or a pulse so you do a little bit more damage. As for the rolls on the chest piece, I'm rocking with health, skill haze, and ammo capacity. Ammo capacity is really important in my opinion, especially with this Deadeye build, because you are going to be running out of ammo a little bit. So if you're playing like PvE missions, kind of, I guess, hold back on like spraying everything. Sometimes use your assault rifle, sometimes use your SMG, because as I said, you're going to be running out of ammo quite a lot. Also, I'm using firearms and health mods for this chest piece. Up next, we have a really good Deadeye mask. What it comes with is a 1271 firearms roll with 9643 skill power and blind/death resistance. This is another thing I wish I could change or hopefully get another one really soon. You really want damage to elites on your mask, because obviously the 10% or whatever you get is way better than having, blind/death resistance or burn resistance, at least for PvE. So damage to elites is one thing I'm definitely missing on this mask. For the knee pads, I do have a 1227 stamina roll. Once again, this is something that could be replaceable and could be a little bit different if my SVD was a bit better, because since I have some stand on, I need over 3800 stamina, so I had to roll one thing into stamina or have one thing with stamina in order to unlock that talent. And these knee pads weren't really that bad, so I was like, you know what, whatever, I'll just use them because they already have burn resistance, damage to elites, critical hit damage. I rolled on it, so you know, although the stamina roll is pretty low, it still unlocks that talent and it still fits perfectly in the build. For the backpack, I'm using a specialized backpack. What I have on it is a 1265 firearms roll, 13,115 health, and bleed resistance. Once again, this is something that is debatable or optional. If you want to use, you know, just a Deadeye backpack and you want to use a refresh mask or something a little bit different, you can go ahead, but I like using this specialized backpack because it just makes my heals a little bit better. I have a little bit more skill power with doing a lot of damage with my sniper. Moving down, we do have a really nice pair of Deadeye gloves. What I have is a 1264 firearms roll, 4528 marksman rifle damage, skill haze, and critical hit damage. So I got really lucky with these gloves. I think I got them from like a cache or something, so I got very lucky with them. They pretty much came with everything you need for a Deadeye build. Lastly, we do have a Deadeye holster with health on it. This is overall a really good holster. The only thing that sucks about it are the electronics, but besides that, it does come with 8008 health and really nice firearms and stamina rolls. Anyways, that is pretty much it for the build. The final thing I do want to show you guys are the character stats. So weapon damage 62,326. Keep in mind this is with the SVD. For my critical hit damage, I do have 142%. Headshot damage, not really that important because, you know, it really doesn't matter. The next thing I do want to show you guys is my max health. So as you guys can see, 210,000, which is pretty low for PvE, but since I do have that support station and since I'm pretty much just sitting back, having a lot of health is not really that important. Also 31.86% armor mitigation, which is pretty high. And then finally for my skill haze, I'm sitting at 25%. So overall, this could be a way better Deadeye build, but you know, overall it's still something that dominates in PvE. For PvP, obviously there's so much more changes. You can make so many different things you have to use, but yeah, that's pretty much it for the build. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe for more videos, and I'll see you guys in the next one.